I am so excited. Hop on, say hi so that I can say hello and get to know you. So I do have my monitor up so that I can see you guys, hear you guys. I see you. I love you. You are amazing. You are worthy. You are wealthy, and you are wise. And today you are in for a gigantic, juicy, beautiful, wonderful treat because I'm going to be spilling all the tea. I'm going to spill all the tea today, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys some dynamic, beautiful, gorgeous methods that I have used in my own life and that I use with my clients. And this information, you guys, you are literally going to be like, it is mind-blowing once you can really grasp onto this. So I want to share off a little bit about my background so you guys can kind of get a grasp on that, because it would be really easy for me to just share my techniques and you guys would be like, okay, great. So what does this have to do with me? Like, what do I get from this? So I do want to share with you guys, there was a time in my life when I didn't understand money. I didn't understand that deep below my money story, there was these unconscious beliefs. There was some limiting beliefs that I was literally battling with. And here's what I know today. Today I know that, deep down there were these beliefs and they didn't make sense to me. They didn't make sense because they weren't meant to make sense. The truth of the matter was that I had these limiting, deep down beliefs that had been given to me long time ago. As a result, I truly believed, and you guys, this is just my truth, this is my story that I want to share with you, is that I believed that I had to work hard for money, that if I had money, it would be taken away. If I had money, I wasn't worth it. I wasn't worthy of money. So to share a little bit about my background, my biological father was a very extremely successful salesman. Go figure. He was very successful and there was a lot of secrets. Growing up, there was a lot of secrets. There was a lot of dysfunction in our family. There was a lot of things going on that we weren't allowed to talk about. So I ended up developing this thing where I would know something was happening, like on my conscious level, I would know things were happening, but I was told that we couldn't talk about it. I was told that we don't talk about those things in public because it's a family secret. Even within our family, there were secrets and there was things that brought up a lot of shame. So as a result, when my biological father and my mom got divorced, I knew, I don't know if my mom ever told me this or if I just knew, you pick up on things when you're a kid, but I knew that he wasn't paying child support. I knew that. And I knew that we were struggling because without his, great income coming in, my mom was a single parent. And I knew, in my heart of hearts, that there was times that we struggled. Whereas before, when my dad was around, we had everything. We had a nice car. We had the Swans Man. Do you guys know what the Swans Man is? I don't even know if I'm saying it right. But the Swans Man would come to our house and we would get popsicles. We would get ice cream. We would get TV dinners. Those were big back in the 80s. And, we didn't have the struggle. Then, next thing I know, we're having to move. We moved a lot when I was a kid. I went to 11 different schools. A lot of this was because my mom was trying to get away from my biological father. What I didn't know, or what I do know, is that there was a lot of physical abuse, that my sister and I both witnessed in the home, and there was a lot more that we didn't know about. So my mom was constantly moving, trying to get away from my dad, and we had this car that broke down in the middle of a snowstorm. And I remember thinking, why isn't my dad giving us money? Why isn't my dad helping us through this? And so what I believed in my little, I was probably 2.5, maybe 3 years old at that time. What I believed, the false belief that I picked up And that the story that I created from that was that I must not be worth my dad giving us money. He must not love me. And my 3-year-old mind equated money with love. Isn't that crazy, you guys? Like, my 3-year-old mind, like, I can literally remember sitting there, and we're in this snowstorm, and we broke down in the middle of Wyoming, I believe is where we were living at the time. And we'd been moving around, running away from my biological father. And so what happened is, our car broke down. And I remember thinking, like, I must not be worthy of a nice vehicle. I must not be worthy of money, because otherwise my dad would love me and he would send us money, or he would be here. I mean, that feeling of like that just total and complete lack of love, lack of resources, and the language and the conversation that I was having in my mind, and looking around, even as 3 years old, looking around and seeing that instead of the new clothes from Sears that I used to get, we used to go shopping for new clothes at Sears, and now I was getting my sister's hand-me-down, worn, gross, used clothes. And I was a chubby kid. My sister was like rail thin. I was a chubby kid. So imagine getting her worn down, used clothes that didn't fit me correctly. The humiliation of having to, stomp through this storm and be out in this cold, deep snow with my sister's hand-me-down clothes, and thinking, I'm not worthy of money. I'm not worthy of money. And through the years, that information, that like belief that I had was reaffirmed time and time again, because what ended up happening is my dad, did not pay child support. I don't know for how long, but I was in high school by the time he started paying child support. Did not pay child support for 15 years of my life. So I literally thought I was not even worth the money or the love. And so what ended up happening is I picked up this belief that I had to work really hard. And I ended up marrying a guy that didn't like to work hard, that didn't know how to keep a job, that didn't know how to support himself or take care of himself. So we bought our first house on my credit. We bought my first car. It wasn't my first car, but we bought our first car together on my credit. We paid cash for his vehicle with my cash. I paid all the bills. And, what I ended up doing is I ended up resenting money. I ended up resenting money because I was resentful that I was having to pay all the bills, that I was the one working. I was the one making the money, when I thought, well, this isn't how it's supposed to be. This isn't how it's supposed to be. So what I learned from that, I was 19 or 20 years old during that time. And what I learned from that was more reaffirming that I wasn't worth a man doing anything for me. And I wasn't worth that. If I wanted to make money, it had to be on me. If I wanted to take care of myself, it had to be on me. If I was going to come across wealth, it was all on me. And that meant I had to work hard, and I had to do things, and I had to sacrifice. And so when we ended up dissolving our relationship and dividing assets, the divorce went on for a really long time, because he fought me over all of these things that I had in place before we were married. He fought me over his vehicle because I paid cash for it, $8,000 cash, which is a lot of money for a 20-something-year-old, And I had car payments still, because we were still leasing, or we had a vehicle finance that I was driving, and the car payments were like $350 a month. Our mortgage payment was like $1,200 a month, and I was left paying all of those bills. And he fought me over it. So what I learned from that even more, that really deeply ingrained this belief, was that every man is going to fight me for money, and that every relationship is based on money. that it comes down to money and that I wasn't worth anything. And so throughout these things, it just kept reaffirming this belief that I'd created in my mind. It kept reaffirming all of this information that took me right back to that 3-year-old version of myself, of my mom's piece of crap car being broken down. And because my dad had left us, really my mom left him, but my dad wasn't giving us money. My dad wasn't giving us child support. My dad would rather just walk away than give me money or love. So when I got divorced, we ended up getting a lot of cash because we sold our house. And at this time, it was like 2006. And for the same house that we had picked up for $134,000 back then in 2001, 2003, somewhere around then, was then at that time, because the market just like blew up, was then we sold it for more than twice that, almost 3 times that. And so next thing I know, I'm 26 years old with a stockpile of cash in my bank account, divorced, feeling even more unworthy, feeling more like a loser, a total and complete loser, like nobody was ever going to love me. I literally felt in my heart of hearts that I was damaged goods, and I gave up on myself. I felt extremely guilty about this money because I somehow believed that I had to hurt somebody because I left my husband. I felt like I had to hurt someone to get this cash. So I resented it. And what ended up happening is, I was the queen of self-sabotage. I was the queen of self-sabotage. 100%. What I ended up doing was I created situations in my life where the cash would leave just as quick as it came in. At that point I was drinking a lot. There was drugs, there was partying, there was, traveling a lot, just really blowing my money. And, I was creating situations where the cash would leave because I resented that cash. I resented that money. I didn't feel worthy, and I felt like I somehow had to hurt somebody in order to get it. So my point in sharing this is that, there's certain beliefs that we pick up. I talked about this yesterday, but I just really want to reaffirm this, that there are certain beliefs that we pick up before the age of 7. There are certain things, there are certain generational beliefs that have been handed down to you, that have been given to you. It's not that long ago that our grandparents or great-grandparents lived through the Depression. Next, we had the baby boomers who grew up with abundance, some abundance, but they grew up with the mindset of you go to college, you get a job, you hate that job, but you still work there for 50 years until you retire, and then you're set. And then there was our generation. So we've been handed down generational beliefs about our money, which were then reaffirmed by the behaviors and the actions of others, the words that we heard spoken about money in your home. So, really, hook onto that for a moment. Hook on to the fact, really let it land for you that the things you heard about money growing up are still with you. They're still firmly planted in your belief system. So if you grew up with a parent, whether it was a single parent, a mom, a dad, whatever it was, if you grew up with any adult in your life, you most likely heard things said about money. Think about it. Maybe you saw your parents fight over money. And so you somehow equated that money was bad, that money equals fighting. And so now that you're an adult, every single time you and your husband talk about money, you get uncomfortable and you shy away, and you feel that feeling inside where you're like, money's so scary, I just want to avoid it. Maybe you get hot, maybe you get heated, and you just want to fight, you want to argue. If you're like me, I literally, and you guys, this is it's not something I share all the time. I'll just say that, this is not something I share all the time because it's definitely not my brightest moment, my shiniest moment, but there was a time in my life when I would be, this is like, years ago, this was like 10, 12 years ago, in my 20s, when I was making a lot of money as a bartender. I was taking home, $250 a night. And I would literally, like, if I took a Friday night off, I would sit there no matter what I was doing. If I was on a date, if I was hanging out with friends and it wasn't fun, like if I wasn't having fun, then I didn't want to play, right? Like, I didn't want to play. Again, this is me 12 years ago. So I would, like, if I wasn't having fun on a date, I would be like in my mind thinking like, this guy should be paying me. You know how much money I'm missing out on just by like being here with him? Like, because my money story was so broken. My narrative I had about money was so askewed that I literally thought people owed me money. I thought people, like, me spending time with someone equated that they owed me money. Like, you guys, this is how crazy our money mindsets can be. This is how crazy we can go when we don't understand why these patterns keep hitting, why these false beliefs keep coming up, and why we stay in that cycle and that loop that I talked about yesterday in day one. Why we stay in that pattern of belief where we literally spiral. So, what you say about money, what you heard about money as a child is so incredibly important, you guys. And if you don't remember what that dialogue was, or you don't remember what the language was that you heard, like, go journal and figure that out, because I think it'll be really interesting if you trace that back. If you trace back any belief that you have about money, if you trace it back to where that originated, you might be surprised to realize that, oh my gosh, I remember my mom saying that we were broke and we couldn't afford it. Now, fast forward in my 40s or my 50s, I'm now saying we can't afford it. Like, it's crazy how we repeat these patterns and how the language that we use about money is so important. The language we use about money is so incredibly important. To the point that, and I don't want to make anybody wrong in this, because like this is like all just like information gathering. This is all like uncovering, discovering, and discarding the stuff that doesn't work. Because if you really ask yourself, what has been working for me? That's something that I ask all the time. Oh, sorry, I thought I saw a comment when I was scrolling. So I really want you guys to think about, what is the money, like, what is the language that you're using around money? What is the language that you use? And I really want you to, challenge yourself over the next 24 hours, over the next 48 hours, over the next week, if you can do it that long. Challenge yourself and really dive into, what is the language that you're using when it comes to money? You might be surprised to think about that, things come up like, I'm broke, I can't afford that, paycheck to paycheck, cheap, expensive, unaffordable, whatever that is. Because let me tell you a key thing that is going to help you win at your abundance, win at your cash, win at money, win at wealth, is to watch your language. Watch your language. And what I mean by this is like the thoughts. We talked about this yesterday. Remember the cycle of your thoughts become your beliefs become your actions, and then your actions become your thoughts. And it's the cycle. So when you watch your thoughts, you mind your mindset. When you watch the thoughts you're having about money, you watch the things you're saying, you're watching your behaviors about money, you can then, create a new cycle, create a new language around it, and you can literally break through like you have never been able to break through before. You guys, I use this with my clients all the time, and they have massive breakthrough around this all of the time. Massive breakthrough. Just by watching their words, watching their language that they use around money, and watching their thoughts and watching their behaviors. And what I mean by this is, a lot of times when we go back and we dive into the money mindset, of, this is like if I'm working with someone one-on-one and, we recognize that there's a pattern coming up or that there's a behavior, there's a belief system, and we really need to like dive into that a little bit deeper, right? So we'll go through the process and we'll discover where that goes. And then, come to find out that there might not be any healthy or beautiful or abundant stories or experiences with money, with cash, with wealth. And, a lot of times women, I work with women who are like, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, like no matter what it is, a lot of times their money belief, like they realize when they go to like, flip the script and create new beliefs around money, they're like, I don't have a single experience with money that's good. And I would say, great, that's awesome. Because you know what? Now that we have replaced that thought, we've completely eliminated it. We've dug it up from the root, and you're like at a neutral place. Like you're now neutral with your money. What you get to do is you get to go from being like in a poor money mindset to neutral to swinging the pendulum the opposite direction, which actually means you get to create new money experiences. And then what I have them do is literally go out and like give $5 cash away to someone that looks hungry, or buy them a meal, or, seek new opportunities to give. And every single time that they give, every single dollar bill, whether if that's electronic, if it's physical, whatever that is, any resources, any abundance that leaves them, they then create a new dialogue in their minds. They get to create a brand new experience with money and with abundance, where you now have the power and the choice to choose exactly how you want to believe about money. I mean, it is incredible, you guys. I mean, this might sound so freaking simple when you hear this, but here's the truth. You get to halt the story. You get to flip the script, and you get to create new experiences. So what that might look like for you is if you're the type of person that every single time you sit down to pay your bills, or a bill comes in the mail, you see your cell phone bill or whatever it is, like maybe you get that like, bills, right? Like, like that energy, that tight, like rigid energy, that tight energy, that heavy feeling, that heavy energy, that negative energy. Maybe you just take a moment to flip the script and be grateful, to be in gratitude for your bills, to be in gratitude for the things that are leaving you, for the cash that is coming in and for the cash that is going out. Because if you truly believe in abundance mindset, if you're truly going to believe to hook onto this and completely transform your money story, completely transform your money blueprint, and get your money story into shape, then what you need to do, what you get to do, is be in gratitude for every single dollar that comes in and every single dollar that comes out. And this might sound easier said than done, but it's so easy once you get in the habit. This is boot camp. This is money mindset boot camp. So it might feel weird the first couple times you do it. Like if you're lifting weights, it might feel exhausting, it might feel weird, but sooner or later you're going to get that muscle memory. You're going to get that muscle in your mindset memory, and it's going to become an intuitive thought. It's going to become an action. It's going to become a brand new way of thinking. It is going to be so deeply ingrained in you that you're literally going to be sitting back like I do and go, oh my gosh, I am so grateful for my internet bill, because it not only gives me the freedom and the ability to make money from my home, where I'm sitting here. I've been sitting out in the sun most of the day. My mom came over and brought me curry. She had pad thai and I had curry. First restaurant experience. It wasn't a restaurant experience. She got to go. But this was literally the first restaurant experience I had since the shutdown. And, we sat outside and she dropped by because she just got a new place that I got to help support her in getting into, and, giving her a beautiful, gorgeous welcome home gift, because this is the first home she's had by herself in a long time. And I got to sit out with her without worrying that, my boss was going to be over my shoulder, wondering when I'm coming back from lunch or whatever. I am so grateful for my internet bill, because it allows me the freedom to create a beautiful business that I love. It allows me the ability to connect to my clients who are so amazing and just gorgeous and incredible and doing amazing things in this world right now. It allows me the freedom to connect with you right now, to serve you in a bigger way, to give you a glimmer of hope. Yeah, I'm grateful for that bill. And I hope that next month I'll get that same bill, because you know what? That means the internet is still going, which means that I'm never going to be without a job, which means that I'm never going to have to worry about cash again. Even if I didn't have the internet, you know what? I'd figure it out. I'd pivot. I'd source that. Every single car payment you make, if you have car payments, feel grateful for it, because that car, that vehicle gives you the ability to go out and connect with people and to, go to networking and be around your loved ones and do all these things and be in gratitude, be in so much gratitude that you can't help but be so grateful and praise the cash as it's leaving, because you get to trust. You get to create trust within yourself. And you get to create trust in the universe, in God, in whatever it is that you believe in. You get to create trust in the fact that that money that's leaving you, in whatever source that it does, that cash is literally going to go out there and serve you. Because, money, we're not working for money. Write this down. You don't work for money. Money works for you. You don't work for money. Money works for you. Every single dollar that leaves me is out there doing the work for me. And I get to trust and believe and align my life in the abundance and the belief that it will come back to me in exponential amounts. And when I come from that mindset, where every single dollar that leaves will go out there, do the work, and then come back to me tenfold, that's when I get to sit back and trust and believe and allow. You guys, it gets to be easy. It gets to be easy. And, let me tell you, guys, let me tell you that, yes, Paige, girl, hey, I didn't see you jump on. Oh, thank you so much, Paige. You are amazing. Oh my goodness. You are incredible. So yes, you don't work for money. Money works for you. And when you're in that belief and you're in that mindset and you're in that flow, when you're in that abundance, when you're in that belief system and you're watching your language, you're watching the language that you're using about money, and you're watching your thoughts, which become your beliefs, which become your behaviors, which again become your thoughts. When you're watching your language, you literally get to watch your money manifest more money and create more money and create more income and create wealth like you will not believe. You guys, here's the deal. It gets to be easy. If you heard my story at the beginning of this broadcast, if you didn't, go back and listen to it. I literally grew up with a single parent. Well, it's interesting how the pattern goes, because we were really well off until my dad left, or until, my dad wasn't in the picture. So I went from having everything I wanted. I was the youngest, and I guess I was really spoiled. I don't know. My sister still kind of holds that grudge over me, but I guess I was spoiled. But and then 3 years old, we were broke. We were poor. Wearing my sister's hand-me-downs. Being in a broken vehicle that broke down in the middle of a snowstorm in the middle of Wyoming. Growing up with a single parent where we had to steal toilet paper at times because we were so poor. Then, creating amazing wealth for myself in my 20s and then sabotaging it to the point where I literally lived in the back of my car. And while I was in the back of my car, I was in that story. I was in a victim story that it had to be somehow someone else's fault. I didn't understand why or how I could go from having multiple six figures in my bank account to living in the back seat of my red sports car, sleeping on the leather back seat of this car that was like this big. I couldn't understand how within 4 or 5 years I could literally go from living in a gated community, making a shit ton of money, and feeling miserable inside, feeling empty, feeling guilt, feeling shame, feeling unsatisfied, feeling unworthy, to being a complete loser in the back seat of my car. Guys, to now feeling no energy around money. I feel no energy around money except the fact that today I have a relationship with cash. I check my bank accounts every single day. I check my PayPal accounts every single day. I know every single bit of my finances and where I sit today. And there was a time, you guys, when I wouldn't even get the ATM receipt. When I would deposit cash or take cash out, I wouldn't even get the receipt because I was so afraid of what it would say, because I honestly thought that somehow that number was gonna tell me I was full of it, or tell me that I was a fraud, or whatever it was. To go from that to this today. If I can do it, you can do it. And you know what? Here's the truth. Here's the truth, you guys. It can happen in a moment. It can happen in one decision. And today, I'm abundant, I'm wealthy, and damn it, I'm worthy. Because I decided I was going to choose that. One day, I was so sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I was literally working as a restaurant manager, making, I don't even know, I think it was $14, $12 an hour, something ridiculous. With, no idea what I was going to do. No idea. All I knew was I was created for more. I knew that I had the birthright of creating wealth. And that day, I remember the moment I decided that, you know what, I was all in. No matter what, I was all in. I didn't know how. And here's the thing, you guys, you don't have to know how. When you make a decision and you go all in, most of the times for me, when I make a decision and I go all in, it doesn't make sense. To me, to anyone around me, to, on paper, it doesn't make sense, but I go all in and I decide. And yeah, I'm a little bit stubborn, which actually is an asset for me sometimes. Not with my husband, who's also just as stubborn. No, I need to pull back a little bit. But my stubbornness is an asset, because when I decide to go all in and I make that decision in that moment, I don't know what's next. I don't know what the next 6 months of my life are going to look like. I don't even know how I'm going to get there, but I made a decision that was so firm and so solid, and literally in that moment, I decided that I was going to create wealth. I was going to feel worthy of it. And from that day forward, I've never looked back. So you guys, it can happen for you too. If it can happen for me, it can happen for you. There's no difference between you and I. Besides maybe, because I'm not going to pretend like I know everybody's story, but maybe the fact of the matter that I decided before I was ready and I just went all in. Maybe the difference between you and me is the only fact that I took action. Because I know how scary it is. That butterfly feeling when you want to make a decision. And it's almost like you're standing on this edge. And it's so scary. And you're looking down and you know you need to take a leap. You know you need to jump. And you feel butterflies and you feel sick and you almost feel like nauseous because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm about to do this. I don't know what it's going to cost me. Is it going to cost me looking good? Is it going to cost me looking silly because people around me don't understand? Is it going to cost me financial? Am I going to need to figure out some things over the next couple of months? Am I going to need to figure out how to open up a line of credit? Am I going to need to figure out how to not drink Starbucks every single day so that I can afford this? Am I going to need to figure out time in my schedule so that I'm not just sitting around watching TV from the moment I get home from work? Am I going to need to rearrange things so that I can be a mom and homeschool and, go to work and still build this business that I truly love and create wealth and abundance? I know that feeling where it's like, it's so scary and you're standing at the edge and like whatever's on the other side of that leap, whatever it is, you want it so freaking badly. You want it so bad that it literally hurts inside for you to think about not going forward with it. But then as you look back over the edge and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so scary. This is frightening. I don't even know. Like, am I good enough to do this? Am I brave enough? Am I courageous enough? Am I audacious enough to actually go through with this? But at the same time, you have that pit in your stomach where you're like, I will be damned if I'm going to live one more day living this old life, living in the mediocrity. One more day struggling, knowing that I'm not living in my purpose, knowing that I'm called to something bigger. And you're like so terrified because you're like, what if I go back to that place? What if I stay here? I don't think I can do it. I can't do it one more day, one more moment. And so what you do is you just freeze. And my hope for you today is if you're in that place, and maybe that leap looks really scary for you and you don't know what it's going to look like, what if you go all in and you decide today, right now in this moment, you decide that you want to create wealth, that you want to go all in abundance, no matter what it costs you. Because it might cost you a little bit of time. But you know that no matter what, 5 years is going to go by anyway, so you might as well, spend those 5 years wisely. The next 6 months of your life is going to go by anyway. So what if at the end of those 6 months, you could create wealth? You could have a brand new money story. What if you could feel so freaking worthy in your ability to manifest cash, to bring cash into your bank account, to bring cash into your life so that you can fulfill the duties and the promises that you've made to yourself, so that you can give your children a better life than you ever had possible, so that you can feel like you contribute to something bigger than yourself, because then you can go out and, donate and serve and, give to charities you care about and give to causes you care about. And you know that because you do that, your life is about something so much bigger than just you. My hope for you today is if you're feeling that in this moment, where you're looking back and you're saying, I can't go on one more day like this. I literally feel like I'm on a treadmill or a hamster wheel going nowhere. Something has to change. Something has to shift, or else I don't know what. And you're sitting there and you're looking out at what is possible. And maybe for you, you don't know what that is yet because you have no frame of reference. I had no frame of reference of what it was like to have money, have abundance, and have a good relationship, because I literally thought it was one or the other. I thought I could be miserable, stay buzzed for the rest of my life. I mean, this is just honest truth. I thought I could stay buzzed for the rest of my life, be miserable, and be with a guy that didn't love me as much as I did, and he would control the cash. Or I could be independent, make my own money, and make something of myself. I didn't know that it didn't have to be an either or, that it could be an and conversation. I didn't know 9 years ago when I started on this journey that I could have abundance and wealth and a beautiful business and be a very strong woman who could lead other leaders. Today I get to lead other leaders. I didn't know it was possible for me to be happy, content, doing what I love, making great money, and be married to the man of my dreams and still have fun and not get in fights about money. I had no frame of reference that could all be possible. So if you're in the place and you're looking out at what could be, and you don't even quite yet know what that is, hang out, keep watching this series, because we're going to go deeper into this tomorrow. We're going to go deeper into painting the vision. So if you don't quite yet have that vision, or if you don't have it like crystal clear, if you don't like literally get so lit up by looking at your vision, but if you're at that place right now where you are literally frozen because the fear of the unknown is just, it's freezing. Like you're afraid. You're in good company. So was I. So was I. And my hope and my encouragement for you today is to just take one little action. That's it. Do one little thing today that will put you a little bit out of your comfort zone. And then tomorrow you get to show up and do that again. And this could be something like giving cash to someone, giving cash to a stranger, instead of just like seeing that guy in the corner and being like, oh, I'm not giving him money because he's going to go use drugs. What if he doesn't? Watch your language around this. Watch your language, watch your behaviors, and then watch your life change. Because it can happen in one moment, in one decision, and in one little tiny action. That's it. It gets to be easy. It gets to be easy, and it is 100% possible for you. I love you guys so much. I hope that you will tune in tomorrow. I'm going to go even deeper into how to create your vision. This is the Money Mindset Bootcamp. This was day 2. Let me know, what did you get from it? What was your biggest takeaway? What was your biggest aha? And what action are you going to take today to help you shift your language around money? I love you guys so, so much. I'm available via Messenger if you have any questions. If you want any coaching around anything that I talked about, just say coach, like Val, coach me, and we can jump on a call. We can voice memo back and forth, whatever it is. I'm here to serve you guys. So let me know. I love you. Again, you guys, thank you so much for spending your time here, and go out there and take action. Watch your language around money, and absolutely watch your entire money story change. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.